So we are now on the second example. So example two, it might be the first one on your paper. I can't remember. But it should be negative the square root of x minus 1 minus 2. I've got this just from the last example, just so we can reference, so we know that squared and then square roots are the opposites. So same deal as usual. My f of x, you guys know, is y. And then I'm going to switch them, my x, my y. So x equals negative square root of y minus 1 minus 2. Okay, so we're getting rid of that thing furthest away from the y, solving for y. That's the minus 2. Okay, so it's kind of the outlier, so let's go ahead and we'll move that over. It's being subtracted, obviously, so we will add it to both sides. Some of this stuff should be, coming natural at this point. So we've got x plus 2 on this side is equal to negative the square root of y minus 1. So this negative here, there's a lot of people who think that because there isn't a number there, then you can keep that negative. You can't, okay? So it's like a negative 1, kind of. So what we can think of it is a negative 1, so you do have to get rid of it, right? They're being multiplied there, so it's negative 1 being multiplied by the square root of y minus 1. So we'll just divide. It's a pretty easy task, but you've got to do it, okay? It seems like you don't have to, but you do. So we'll divide that side by negative 1, this side by negative 1. I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x just as a placeholder. It helps in some people's heads if they've got that there. Those will cancel, so I'll be left with y minus 1. Okay, over here I've got 1 divided by negative 1. That just leaves me with negative 1x, or just negative x is fine. Then over here, I've got 2 over negative 1, which is a minus 2. Okay, so this was just 1x over negative 1, which is just negative 1x, or negative x. And then the next one was 2 over negative 1. If you need to break it up like this, then you can, is negative 2. Okay, so each of these is over negative 1. Okay, you don't have to do this, though. Not a big deal. So now we've got negative x minus 2 is equal to the square root of y minus 1. Just like in the first example, to get rid of that square root, you've got to square that, which means we have to square this. So negative x squared, negative x minus 2 squared. Okay, I had to square the whole thing. So negative x minus 2, all of that squared is equal. I squared the square root. So now I'm just left with y minus 1. Obviously, all we have to get rid of is this, so this 1 being subtracted now, which obviously we'll just add it. Both sides. Y is now alone, finally. So over here, I've got negative x minus 2 squared plus 1. Okay, now notice this plus 1 was added after the square happened, so it's not inside those parentheses. This plus 1's not being squared, it's tacked on at the end. So our inverse function is negative x minus 2 all squared plus 1.